Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. I'm Sheryl Abernathy and I'll be your guest crafter today. Today is Monday, August 5th, and thank you so much for joining me as we craft today. And hopefully, you have some of the products that I'll be using and you can craft along with me. The products that I'm using today, I've got two matte blending inks from Lisa Horton, Margarita and Sweet Violet, and then some lovely products from the Spotlight Frames and Floral collection for Spellbinders by Lisa Horton. And this card uses the Layered Anemone, I can say that word, Layered Anemone dies. And we'll be doing some Better Press plates today. This is actually the plate that we're going to use. And then we're going to use the You Make Me Smile sentiments. Okay, so those are the products that we're using today. And I do have these listed in the description, and I'll get that updated after we're live and reposted. And this is today's project. So it's really colorful, two of my favorite Lisa Horton colors in this card, and we'll sit that there and we'll go ahead and get started with our Better Press. Let me see here. I'm trying to see comments here. See, hello everyone. Let's see, Valerie and Kim. I can't see. Sorry, I'm having trouble scrolling here. Okay, hi Miriam, Jean, Kim. Is that Raylene? And Rebecca. Hi, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. So we're going to be doing some Better Press, and I apologize for the glare. I'll try and keep this over here so it doesn't glare as much. But this is the Better Press system from Spellbinders, and I'm using it just as it comes out of the box. You can actually press onto plain cardstock, and that's what I'm going to be using today. Now, if you want to still have the impression of a cotton panel or a watercolor panel, the softer paper, you can do that on cardstock, but what you would need to do is take out the shims that are in here that are in the letterpress, take those out, and then you can add a shim over top, and then that'll give you a Better Press look. But for today, I really just want the design. So I've gone ahead and put my Better Press plate onto the platen here. And if you look at this particular plate, on one side of the circles, there are 4 dots, and on the other side, there are 3 dots. And it doesn't matter which way you put it on your plate, but what you do want to do is make sure that you have it oriented the same way when you move it down to Better Press the second time. So you see I've got 2 different impressions there. So you want to make sure that they're going in the same direction. That's really the only thing you have to worry about with this one. So I'm going to use, this is an A2 panel of white cardstock, and I'm just going to line that up. And I'll put a little bit of, I got tape. I keep my tape because I reuse it, but put your, in the corners is fine because we're not going to be using our design in the corners. Do I have that crooked? No, it's straight. Okay. And so there we go. And then just take your ink pad and just ink it up. And you can tap, but that takes a long time. So I just kind of swirl it around until I see that everything is covered. And that looks like I got everything pretty well covered. I'm using the Margarita. You can use any color combination with this because it's a fun, easy design to do. And with ink pads, you want to make sure you have the, I don't know what you call this technically, but it's the fabric, not the foam ink pad when you're doing Letterpress. Spellbinders makes ink specifically for this, but Lisa's inks work perfectly. And so then you'll just go ahead and put that onto your plate, and that's magnetic, so it just snaps right in, and then it's ready to do the die cutting. I'm just going to come out of frame while I die cut so that my table doesn't shake. It shakes too much when I put my Platinum 6. I'm just putting it right into my Platinum 6, and I'm just rolling it through like I would a die or an embossing folder. So there we go. Just lift that up, and we have our first impression. Very nice, very easy. And I'll turn this up and let that dry a little bit. And then I'm going to, this platen is magnetic, and it is got a really strong hold. So you want to have something to help you. If you've got weak fingers like I do, I can't lift that up. And then I'm just moving it down, making sure that it's straight, which is kind of the hardest part. With this, it's pretty easy, but this is a bigger plate, so it is really gripped on there nice and tight, which is really what we want, right? Okay, and then I'm going to ink this up again in the new position. And just want to make sure that everything is inked. And it looks like I've got pretty good coverage there. Okay. And then I'm just going to put this back down. Magnets, just grab it and we'll run it through one more time. And there we go. And we have our two images. And if you don't get those perfectly lined up, you don't need to worry about that, because we're actually going to cover that up. That's why I wasn't being too anal about making sure that that was lined up super perfect. But it is possible to get it lined up perfectly. Here's a purple one that I did earlier, and if you pay attention and make sure you have those 4 lines, that one line is right in the center, you'll get a perfect alignment. But I wasn't worried about that so much, only because I knew I was going to cover it up, so it's no big deal. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way because we are done with the Letterpress. And then the next thing that we're going to do is our flowers. And I used 3 flowers for this design from the Layered Anemones. I'm going to practice that. I'm going to get it out right the first time. But so I've gone ahead and I cut 3 flowers. I did 1 large and two of the smaller ones. And I've already put those together. But I'll go ahead and do this one, the large one now. And I have to play around a little bit to figure out how I layer these two. It's not that hard actually to figure out. Let me get this up here so you can see what I'm doing. But they just stick on top of each other. They layer on top of each other, not stick. Like so. And so I'll just put a little bit of glue there and put that together. Just a teeny dot, you don't need a lot. It's going to stick. Well, if your glue comes out of the bottle, it's going to stick. Let's get this. There we go. That should be better. Well, yeah, there it is. Okay, I was going to say, what's wrong with my glue? Okay, so there we go. Really simple. And then I wanted color on these, obviously, so I'm going to just use my Sweet Violet, and I wanted a really deep color at the very tip, so I'm not going too far off of the edge before I move on to the card. So I'll get that nice deep color right at the tips of the flower. And then just move up a little. And I'll do that all the way around. And I actually could pick up some of the ink that's already on my mat here. And get that all on there. And here we go. Come up a little bit more towards the center. This violet, purple is my mom's favorite color, and more and more and more, I'm loving purples, and Lisa's purples are so pretty. I really like them. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with the Sweet Violet on that. Wipe that up. Get it out the way. And then we'll add the Margarita to the center. So take a smaller stencil brush and just basically dab it in the center and move it around some till you get it all covered. And that's really all you have to do to create those flowers. Really simple, easy. And then, of course, the design, you can use stems. There are stems in these dies. So you can have the stems and the leaves to the stems, and then the flower centers if you wanted to die cut those and do them that way. But this is just a quick little shortcut using ink to do it. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is we'll move these out of the way. And the next thing we need to do is, I'm gonna put a little alcohol in here. I want this to be completely gone. Oops. The next thing we need to do is die cut our sentiment, and that is the You Make Me Smile sentiment set. And this has it's got 2 shadow dies and then the actual sentiment word itself. So we're only going to use these two dies. And what I've done here, I've just taken some white cardstock and I inked it up with the colors that I wanted. If you don't have the color cardstock you need, you can always create it with your inks. So that's a really nice thing to do. And so I'm going to do the shadow die in purple and the purple in Sweet Violet and the actual sentiment in Margarita. So we'll just put those down, and then I'm going to cut these so that I can actually die cut them together on in one. There we go. And then I'll just put these on my die cut Platinum 6 and I'll run them right through, and I'll be right back in frame in just 1 second. I was die cutting something the other day, and when I got done, my plates went flying across the room. I was laughing. I was like, I couldn't do that again if somebody paid me. But it was pretty funny. It would have made a great little outtakes video. So there we are with that. I'll move this, try and clean up some of my mess as I go along here. Okay, so now that we have, I'll get my dies before I lose them. Let's put those back on where they belong. Okay, so then there's just a couple little chad there. Get that out of the way. And we'll just put some glue on the back. And when I'm using glue like this, you can use transfer tape so that you don't have to worry about the glue, but I didn't. And if you wait a little bit after you put the glue on the back of your whatever it is, especially if it's an intricate die, if you wait just a little bit and give that glue a chance to set up, you kind of reduce the risk of having the glue smear onto whatever it is you're adhering it to. So I try to give it a little extra time before I actually adhere it. And you don't have to have every single spot covered, but just the main areas. And you don't need, obviously, not a lot of glue, just a teeny bit. And we get this. There. And wait a second or two for that. But I love these colors together. They're kind of bright and cheery. And they make you smile. There we go. Nice and easy. So the other thing that I did ahead of time was I used the sentiments, and this, as you can see, this is all one piece and a die cut in one piece. And I took another piece of the paper that I had inked up and I heat embossed it with white embossing powder and die cut all of these. So I have these 4 extra sentiments to use for other cards. And this is already done. So that's how I created that. So we've got all of our components there, all done, nice and easy. And all we need to do now is add everything to our card front. I need to pull out my bone folder here. I just want to burnish this card. Just a little bit, smooth it out some before I add it to my card front. And I want to double check and make sure that they're the same size, because sometimes one or the other is a little off, but this one is pretty good. So we'll just go ahead and use some tape or glue, whatever you prefer, and add it to my card front. Super easy. I really, crafting with Lisa's products are so much fun because you can make really beautiful cards and it doesn't take a ton of effort and it doesn't take a lot of experience. The products really do all the work for you, and I love that. Okay, so we'll just burnish that back to make sure that we got a nice solid. And then we'll go ahead and I added some foam to the back of my flowers, so we have a little extra dimension. Excuse me. And so we'll put some foam on each one of these. Make sure I get the right side down. And for these, I always like to dry fit everything just to make sure it's going to do what I want it to do. And that looks pretty good. So I've got 3. And then just take the there we go. Take those little backs off. And try and be careful. Did I get that off? Yeah, I did. Okay. Careful about your edges of the card because you don't want those hanging over. And then we'll add our sentiment. Put a little glue on there. And just want to make sure that the edges are good, not too close to the edge because you don't want that glue oozing out. And I want it off-centered a little. So I just kind of make sure. Now here's where I'm really anxious. Lisa's coming out with a T ruler, and this would be a good use for it when it comes available, of making sure that that's straight. That looks fairly good. And then we'll put some glue on this last little piece here. And stick that down. I kind of use the dots as to help me line it up to make sure that it's straight. And then the final thing that we need to do is, and actually this is an optional step. If you don't want it, you don't need to do it. But I like a little bling. Well, there's a couple things we need to do. I want to fluff up these flower ends just a little bit, not a lot. And you can actually do this before you put it on the card, but I didn't, so I'm doing it now. Just give it a little bit of, you don't have to do a lot, just a little, give it a little extra dimension. Use your fingernails if you have them, or a pokey tool, anything that'll help put a little curve in your flower. There. Okay, so then the final thing that we want to do is add some bling. I like bling. When I'm running out of this particular, this is a Spellbinders one that I happen to have that I think coordinates pretty well with the colors. When I'm doing 3s, I typically will put the middle one in first, but I didn't do that this time. And this one looks like it's the same size. So I can't, let's see. That looks straight. And then just scatter some of the smaller ones around wherever you think they look nice. I try to use the rule of odd numbers when I'm adding gems to my card. And that's really the only thing I go with. I just go with what I think looks, that one's got something on it. I just go with whatever I think looks pretty. And that's really what it's all about. Whoever gets your cards are going to love them because you made them. Okay, so there we have today's card. Again, this is Lisa's Spellbinders Spotlight Frames and Floral collection, 3 of the items from that collection. I hope that you like the card, and I hope you'll give it a try. And thank you so much for stopping by. I'll be back next week with another card share. I hope you have a fabulous week, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.